Good morning and welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo good morning and welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rhonda Lohnert.
And I'm Chuckalicious, Chuck Williams.
Joining us from Numbers USA, he's the HBCU Engagement Director for that organization, Mr. Andre Barnes. We hear a lot about immigration, and it affects us day to day here in this area. Sometimes we hear all the rhetoric and we don't get the meat and bones and see the basics of it and how immigration affects each and every aspect of your daily life. Andre comes with us from Numbers USA to talk about immigration, especially right now at this time as we get ready to mount onto a historic election. Mr. Barnes, once again, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I've been doing a lot of traveling. I was in Chicago for a conference that I threw. And the goal of that conference was to bring in someone that had a differing opinion about immigration and have a discussion, a factual discussion about immigration that America could see. And we were able to get someone, but it was like last minute because it was the weekend of Juneteenth, and there's a lot of people that's like, well, maybe another time, and it was hard. But we had a really good and fruitful discussion. We were able to put up some facts and have a really great discussion on how it affects the Black community. The person that I was interviewing with was Dr. David Loren, and he actually is an immigrant himself, and he works for a immigrant advocacy organization. So it was a great panel discussion. We also had Theo Wilson. He had a Shop Talk Live forum, and we had some community members that came in to join us on the discussion and talk about, their pain points that they're experiencing with immigration as well.
Andre, I want to clarify for people so they can understand. You're not against immigration. Numbers USA is not against immigration. What you guys are standing for is immigration the right way. Make it legal. Don't make it a crime to get into this country. Don't break the law to get into this country, because by doing so, it really starts a chain of events happening. And one of those things, especially what affects my community, is a loss in employment opportunities, a loss of wages, a loss of economic impact in the community, because it's being siphoned off to another area to help someone who's not even a citizen.
That's right. And Numbers USA, our moniker is that we want sensible immigration policies. And what we're seeing in the job market, if you only have a high school diploma, 2 out of 5 workers are working. If you don't have a diploma, 3 out of 5 of every Black American is working. So we're in a situation where we're bringing in all these additional people, providing them with all these additional benefits that Americans aren't even seeing. And we're asking these questions like, why can't they pull themselves up by the bootstraps? They're facing some real competition that a lot of the educated Black Americans are not seeing, they're not experiencing, unless they're in those cities where they're dumping, where illegal immigrants are being housed.
Well, you mentioned that the discussion that you had at this conference was meaningful and productive, fruitful. Could you give us some of the highlights, some of the things that stood out to you that maybe people should know that we haven't thought of?
Yes. So, I had, prior to this meeting, I'd never met Dr. Loren. And what I wanted to happen was I wanted there to be a discussion where we can kind of present the facts from both sides, so people can really get factual information instead of getting secondhand information from politicians or other people that are not experts in the field. And what ended up happening is Dr. Loren and I had a concession, and our concession was you cannot talk about the troubles of our border security, the troubles that we're experiencing with mass immigration, without discussing the plight of Black Americans. That was something that we can agree on because, whether you're, we often hear about the plight of the people coming across the border and, them making the trek but we don't hear that other side of the argument. So Dr. Loren got to present the points of what he was experiencing, what people were experiencing coming across the border, and the types of benefits that they provide him. But he was able to also quickly come over and speak from someone who has assimilated in the country and saying, hey, these policies aren't fair. We're here to help. My organization helps these people, but I can see how Americans would feel slighted at some of these situations.
It seems to me as though what would be the right way for immigration to run, to your mind?
To my mind, I would follow what Barbara Jordan said, because they had several commissions on immigration. And the commission, which was a bipartisan commission, came to an agreement about the numbers. And the numbers that they came up with was around 550,000 per year. And at that level, you wouldn't have as much competition between low-skilled workers, whether they're coming in illegally or they're American citizens. So that's where I think the number should be. I think that they brought the experts in and thought about that number, but there's a lot of factors that are influencing, elected officials, and that's part of the reason why that commission's recommendations didn't get accepted.
Andre, why has this become such a political football to be bandied about instead of let's start making good, conscious decisions about what our immigration policies are? Does it behoove one party or one group more than another to have this confusion, this cloud around this issue?
Well, what I think has happened over the decades is that Americans have been really low information voters around this situation in the first place, and also the immigration as a policy itself is very complicated because you have all these terms of different statuses of people that are in the United States. They can work in the United States, but they're not really citizens. And Americans are grappling with this. I was recently in Wisconsin at an organization called Braver Angels. And what they did is they brought Reds and Blues to talk about issues and come to a concession. Now, one of the workshops I went in was an immigration workshop. But I was in the workshop as an observer. I wasn't on the red or blue panel. So what ended up happening is I had a chance to listen to how regular citizens who are not, who are not privy to as much information as I have had, came to decisions on immigration policies. And what myself and my colleague observed was that if they had more information, they would have been able to make better decisions on the policies as a team. But since they didn't, there were terms that they were mistaken on, what the status was or how the immigration policy, what's even going on currently with the immigration policy, because things like asylum that were coming up,
right?
They were against it. They were against it, but that's the whole issue that we're facing at the border right now. So if they knew that, they would have made a better policy decision in this meeting. So it was like nails on the chalkboard for myself and my colleague, but it was eye-opening for us because we were just like, we have so much more work to do.
You can find out more. Go to numbersusa.com. Find out the truth. Find out the real debate about this issue of immigration. Get it from the horse's mouth, numbersusa.com. Andre, as always, great conversation. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. You guys have a wonderful day.
We're going to get out of here. You know the two rules. Be kind, be careful. See you bright and early tomorrow morning here on The Chat.